In this video, I'm going to go over four different widgets: the parse date widget, the compose date widget, and then the add and subtract widgets. And, sometimes it's the simplest examples that help really make things easy to understand. And this is one of them. So what does this function do? It takes in the date. And for any date that you provide, it's going to also tell you what month is it, what is next month, and what is the last day of this month. And while you might not use this function in a custom function in a spreadsheet, this function is definitely very useful in the numbers flow editor and reusing it. So let's walk through this and show how it's calculated, how we're using these widgets, and then extra credit at the end. We're going to build it up real quick. So last day of this month, what are we doing here? We're doing February. And of course, who can ever remember what the leap year is here? So how are we calculating the last day of February 2024? We are subtracting one day in a subtract widget from next month. And then next month is 3/1. That's correct. How are we determining that? One is hard coded, three comes from the add widget. That three is adding one from month two, which is coming from the date widget here. So that's how you're getting next month. And then how are we getting the year? We're just pulling the year from the parse date widget here. Okay, so that's the last day of the month. Let's trace all the way back. Let's do next month. Pretty much the same thing we just did this, but here's your first of the month. That's a hard-coded value. Here's three, which I'm getting from 2 + 1. Two is from the date where we're parsing it from here. Okay, and then this month, pretty much same thing. Hard-coded one. Month is coming from the parse date widget. Sorry, two is coming from the parse date widget. 2024 is coming from the parse date widget. That's coming from the input. Okay, good stuff. So really interesting, very easy to understand. Of course, you don't have to build this because you could just get it from our catalog. And I'm going to build this out real quick just to show you a little extra credit here if you want to watch, to show you how fast these things can be built. I'm not necessarily going to label everything, but let's do that now. So we're going to create determine month. Let's just do this real quick. We're just taking in date. So once you put the date in to 24, let's just keep the leap year. And then, so I always label things because, especially early on, because I like to know what I'm doing. And then if I have to come back last day this month, I can come back to it easily. Okay. Right. So remember, as soon as you put this in here, the date is the data type is set to date. Let's build real quick with no labels. So we're going to take a date, let that go. What are we going to do? Parse the date. Add that. Okay. I'll just do that real quick. Then what are we going to do? We want to calculate this month. So I need to take the year and we're going to compose the date. And then there's a year. I'm going to take in the month and hard code this. Definitely want to label that. This is this month. Okay, great. That is correct. Let's put that in. Okay, what do we want to do? We want to calculate next month. So we need to, let's see what we're doing here. Parse the date next month. Okay, right. So we're going to compose next month. Next month. Okay. What are we doing? We're taking in the year. We are taking February. We're going to add one to it. One. Let's just keep moving here so we can label things later. And there's your one. Okay, there's your next month. And then we're going to take last day of this month. So we're going to take next month and we're going to drag it and we're going to subtract one from that. We're going to need to tell the system we want this to be a date, not a number. There you go. Okay, we are done. That's how easy this was to build. Obviously, you want to go through and label these other things. But again, I always recommend labeling the inputs and outputs. If you have to come back and don't finish a function, especially if it's bigger, it's a lot easier to understand what's going on when you have things labeled.